Hi there, Hamish Conway here, and welcome to TACOS Tuesday. This is episode number 60, and with me today, as mostly always, is Sebastian Hargraves. Welcome, Seb.
Looking forward to this session.
Excellent, very good. And the topic today, as you would have seen, is around sponsored brand videos and some surprising results that we've been seeing. And so we're going to share some of those results, and also then talk to sponsored brand videos in terms of creating really good ones, and looking at what we've learned and just some standard things there that we'll share with you the list. And there's even going to be a document if you want to go download as well from the website. But before we dive into that, so Seb, as we are recording this, Amazon Big Deals has been happening. Australia's got a week, and that finishes on the 13th, and the US just had the 2-day window. So what have you noticed? How's it been going?
Yeah, so for AU, it's done pretty well. Some of our clients have done extremely well, actually. Some of them have done all of their revenue within the last 2 days.
Amazing.
And the event's still got a long way to go. The US was a little bit softer, but the US is always softer compared to the middle prime sort of period. So, but for those that participate and put good deals forward and truly commit their catalog, like their whole catalog or most of their catalog to the event, they're seeing really good results.
Yeah, great. And so, next podcast, you'll do a bit of a deep dive into the results and what you notice. So
and we'll compare it to last year as well, and kind of get an idea.
Okay, that's good. And it'll be interesting if there's any takeaways for people to apply into the Black Friday window coming up as well. So that'll be good. Looking forward to that episode there. And look, and also just a couple of other things before we jump into the sponsored brand videos. If you are in, we've got some more Amazon vendor meetups that we are doing in Melbourne on the 12th of November and Sydney on the 13th of November. So more details to come on that, but they're the dates, and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So it'll be great to have you there. Look at your calendar, put that in. And then also another thing is we've had a pretty good year here at Sell Global, and with that growth comes the need for great team members. And so we are advertising for what we call an advertising director. So this is a senior person who will be client facing and working with clients on advertising strategy and making sure that they are doing really well and growing there. So a bit more about that. But if you are interested in that or know someone who that role could work well for, ideally they'll be Sydney or Melbourne based, but it is a work from home opportunity. We'll put something in the show notes on that as well. So anyway, thank you for being here, people. So look, we were talking yesterday, and Seb goes, look at these results for a sponsored brand video. I'm surprised because, normally you think with a video, you want to have like people in it there so you can see how it's all in use. But then there's also, we're comparing that to infographics, more simple. And I'm going to share my screen. There's a bunch of numbers there. If you're just listening, we'll talk to these numbers and you'll get the key. You get the key point. But actually, before we do this, so sponsored brand videos, you'll see when you are searching on Amazon in the headline or halfway down or at the bottom. They're the main placements there, and obviously the headline works. I don't know if you looked at placement, Seb, in this mix, but that's where they are. Just as I'm getting ready to share, can you explain more about that?
Yeah, no, we didn't do placements because that would have probably skewed the data too thinly, if that makes sense, by separating it by placements. But they do show top of search, middle of search, and they do also show up on competitors' product pages. They are all the way down, like near the reviews, but they do show up there as well.
Yeah, okay. So the stats include that. So, for example, this one here is a infographic here coming up saying improve sleep. It's got the product right there, aids muscle recovery, so relieves stress symptoms. And so it's got those simple infographics, aids muscle relaxation, shop now, call to action. And then another version we're looking at here is it's got a person in the video walking down the street, and then it's pulling up a number of call outs as well. Supports your growth and bring in a bit of the science and what's in it. It's a little bit shorter, but it's got a person in it. And I think there was another one on this particular page here with a Volta Natra, showing a guy and rubbing it into his neck, etc. So you got a person involved versus just infographics. So hopefully that makes sense. But let's have a look at some of these results and tell me what you found. So there was 4 tests here, and just talk to what you noticed, and keeping in mind people just listening. What did you notice?
So for those listening, we've got basically a spreadsheet just bringing in the main numbers. So we've got bringing in impressions, clicks, orders, your ad spend, your ad sales, and then from there we're working out what your click-through rate and your conversion rate is. And we've got 4 separate videos across 4 different products. So we've got a good kind of spread in regards to some diversity there.
Well, to be clear, 4 tests, so there's actually 8 videos.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So 4 tests, 8 videos. One of them was an infographic video only. The other video was a live action, which, when I say live action, just mean it includes a person. And basically, the sort of long and short of it was that the conversion rate was 9.8% better collectively across all of these 8 videos on the infographic videos, and it was 21% better on the click-through rate. Versus the infographic. The infographics were 21% better in click-through rate than the live action, and the same and a better conversion rate. And I don't think that's categorically across all categories, but what it does tell us, and it is a bit of a theory that we did have, which is that when consumers are on Amazon, well, there's 2 things we think that's playing out here. One, if people don't identify with the person that's in the video, we think that can affect if they click or purchase on something, if they kind of, for whatever reason don't like the person, right? We make up our mind about people pretty quickly. So if they don't like that can be a barrier. And then the other piece is that we do think that when people come to Amazon, they are much closer to the purchasing part of the decision. So they don't really need to be convinced why they need to purchase something. They just need to know the facts about what am I going to get, am I going to get, how many grams is it, all of those kind of things. They do need to see benefits. How's it going to benefit me and things like that? But showing that with a person's quite hard. Like I think in that video you showed, Hamish, she's flicking her hair to almost to say like, this is my hair growth, but they're not explicitly saying that in the video. It's more just intended through the thing with it. Whereas with infographics, you can really just communicate. It's for hair growth. It's for whatever it is that your messaging is about. And so we think that's why why that performs better. And the data, obviously is the data, right? So it suggests that that's a better performance there.
Yeah. I mean, that data, like you're talking about the click-through rate and the conversion rate being better for the infographic, but actually a key number that stands out for me here, essentially the same ad spend over these 4 experiments, but the infographic had 5 times the number of sales. So that's arguably the most important metric there to be looking at. So even though ad spend was very close, 5 times the amount of sales. So I found that I found this really interesting, because as a marketer, we're looking to help market products, and certainly when we're doing image stacks, you want to have a lifestyle shot in use that can really help as part of an image stack. I guess there is, like to what you were talking about before, there is a simplicity aspect. And even was looking at that Blackmore's one, and quite a lot of stuff came up, and I got a bit confused as to what is going on here. Whereas, if you look at that magnesium glycinate one, like it called out like 4 benefits of what it gives you, like very clearly, no confusion, the product is there, and then shop now. So there's something about removing friction and simplicity that helps. I think this is good news, right? Because often people from a video ads point of view will start to go, oh no, we don't really have any good, and using the language here, live action content, so it's a little bit hard. But actually try simple, because I think video ads, they work so well from that click-through rate compared to other ad types. So this is good news. Would you agree, Seb?
Because you can create fairly simple. I think it still needs to be quality, yes. Obviously. Like you need to keep refining and working on that. But yeah, it is a simpler way of presenting it. So just one other thing with that 5x sales, you probably need to look at orders, because there'll probably be different price point products. That's making that
Okay, so those orders are a little bit closer. Good call out there. Anyway, so I think that's so that is useful, and I know Amazon from when we were at the last Amazon event in Sydney, just catching the end of a presentation there from the Amazon ads guy around some of the tools that Amazon has for creating ad creative, where you can spin up more infographic options there more simply, but you still need to make sure, AI is good to a point, but you also got to make sure that it is hitting the right points in the right way. Any comments on that last part?
I suppose, like anything that we've instilled this message clearly, but it's testing is the key component here. Everything should be not taken for granted. You should always be running tests, and that's how you're going to get
Correct.
the best results.
Yeah. Wonderful. All right. So then people go, well, okay, sponsor brand videos, we know it's a good idea. And hey, this infographics can work actually really well. Obviously, you've got to continue testing. Here's some tips for maximizing your sponsor brand video effectiveness. And we'll have this as a PDF for you to download as well. So the first thing is here, hooking the viewer in the first 3 seconds. And this is the day and age we're in. This makes sense, right? People are almost attention deficit there, so we've got to grab them with visuals, and like even could be simple, just the product spinning and hitting a pain point or a bold statement or benefit that's going to grab people's attention. So if I was to flick back to the magnesium one there, it's talking improved sleep with Z's coming up, so it's visually grabbing attention, and it's got a big benefit that a lot of people are going to want. Hooking them in, really important. And this whole hook thing is just something we've all got to get better and better at, not just visual hooks, but even written hooks as well. So then the next one is assume the shoppers have the sound off. So you could have background music there, but 95% of the time people have their sound off. Assume that, so the visuals need to have text that is clear and large, not overcomplicated. Don't bring too much into it. And as I talked to before about that Blackmore's one, that was just got a little bit confusing just in my brain, and just enough to make me like scroll. So it's how do we just make this super easy, super clear, but assuming the sound is off, so it's not about talking or script. Then we've got anything on those so far, Seb?
No, both of those are accurate. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Keep it under 15 seconds. Anything beyond that is hardly watched. So 15 seconds is really your ideal sweet spot, because what we want to do is get people to buy. Okay, and we're not bringing too much into the mix here so that people get confused. It's really that 15 seconds. Then kind of linked to this theme, we've got use minimal text. Shoppers don't like to read, so keep on-screen text short, bold, and highly legible, especially for mobile devices. Okay, most people are shopping, nearly two-thirds at least are on mobile devices when they're browsing. They do add to cart there, and then will tend to convert or complete the purchase 50-50 more so. But again, bold text, keeping it clear, keeping it simple. Then we've got avoid white backgrounds. Since Amazon's search results page has a white background, videos need to have bold colors to stand out. So keep that in mind as well. Then we've got show the product immediately. You'll notice if you're the one we showed, the product was there the whole time. So you want to have it there immediately so people join the dot in what the product is. We're not building a kind of a story here. There is a story, but it's very short, and the product is there right from the get-go. Then you can use like lifestyle imagery to demonstrate how the product fits into the shopper's life, rather than just showcasing the product in isolation. And so this is what you've got to test, right? So that was, with the guy with one rubbing into a shoulder, that was obviously showing it in use. And, you do test that side of things there. Or you can have like infographic or like icons there that can work really well also, just from a simple visual point of view. And then really important, always include a call to action, even if it's subtle or bold, but that actually improves conversion rates. If you don't have that, then people can skip on. It's just a weird subliminal thing. If you've got buy now, then people will. So that's some of the tips there. And so hook the viewers, assume shoppers have sound off, keep it under 15 seconds, use minimal text, avoid white backgrounds, show the product immediately, use lifestyle imagery, and test the opposite of that, and always include a call to action. So, Seb, anything else to add?
Test movement. I think sometimes, like that video you showed, that there's not a lot of movement. I think that, and I think you can overdo it as well. But I think testing movement's a good way to really capture attention when things are kind of moving and dynamic, and and all that kind of stuff. And also test, cheeky. I would say cheeky videos. There's one that comes to mind, but basically videos that kind of on brand and cheeky a little bit in the way that they communicate their messaging and things like that. People like that a lot, and so it's just some good thing to test there.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. No, I was thinking when you said cheeky, I was thinking about the Dollar Shave Club, but that's a longer, longer ad.
Yeah.
Those sort of ads there. Good. Yeah, I think movement, getting attention, and those tests there, the click-through rates were a little bit lower than I know what we had seen and some other numbers we're looking at. I thought, click-through rate was a lot higher than other ad types. Sponsor brand video really has its place to get people to your brand and really grabbing that attention compared to the static options. So excellent. Seb, anything? I think that was what we wanted to cover today.
Yep.
So
it was a good, short, sweet one, but it's something. One thing I will say for AU listeners is video is still very underutilized here. So get on that bandwagon. It's not hard to create them. You don't have to do those high production ones. Get the infographics, the simple versions out. Make sure they're quality, obviously all that kind of stuff, but and follow those best practices we put together, and you'll be getting results quickly.
Yeah, amazing. Excellent. Okay, well, thanks so much for tuning in. And again, we appreciate it if you follow, subscribe, and like and comment and all of those good things. Thanks so much. And have a look in the show notes there. We mentioned about the events coming up in Melbourne and Sydney, and also the advertising director role. And you'll also be able to get the download of those advertising video 8 points there of what you want to make sure you cover off. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in to TACOS Tuesday. All the best.